Hello, I'm on the beautiful island of San Miguel in the Azores, where I'm joined by my old school friend Andrew and some mysterious music. Because today we're going to explore one of the world's most extraordinary abandoned buildings.
Yeah, I don't know where we actually get in, which is one small snag.
Now, before we start, responsible adult Tim wants to point out that technically you're not allowed to do what we're about to do.
Yeah, I assume there's some kind of way of getting it that way.
So if you ever find yourself here, be aware that you're not supposed to be. It's not safe. There's debris everywhere, stuff occasionally drops from the ceiling, and there are exposed lift shafts that you don't want to fall into.
Nice of them to leave the bricks there.
The less boring part of me says that if they really didn't want you to visit, they'd make it a lot more difficult to get in. So, you know the drill. Respect the risks, take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints, yada yada, etc. Okay, can you please stop that ridiculous music? Thank you. Let's go in. This is the grand reception hall of the Hotel Monte Palace. It opened in 1989 and won the 1990 award for Best Hotel in Portugal. But by the end of the year, it was closed down and abandoned. So what happened here? Well, we'll come to the story in a bit, but first, let's do some exploring.
Do they have a basement? Because I think if they've got a basement, that'll be properly scary. I wonder how much asbestos there is in here. I suppose we'll find out soon. Oh, Should we go down there?
Yep.
Can't actually see what we're doing at all.
Trying to give me a torch? I'll go first.
This is either the swimming pool or the mass graveyard. It really could go either way. This is going to be great YouTube, by the way. You can see absolutely nothing. Watch out for the hole. Watch out for the dangly random thing.
Toilet.
Oh, well, I'm glad we came this way. Theatre?
I don't know, but all the tiling there. Oh, that's a very good point. All the tiling there.
In fact, it looks like a cinema, doesn't it? You'd have the seats here going down. Can you turn the light onto here? And then, is that a stage or is it a screen back there? Oh no, yeah, maybe it's a theatre, they had shows here.
Actually, it turns out that was the hotel nightclub, as you can see in this old photo. So Tim from the past got that one wrong. Don't listen to Tim from the past, he's an idiot.
Right, should we go out with this?
Let's go up here, why not? Look down there.
I like that. What do you think we should do?
Definitely go inside. I can't open the door. Oh, it's just an empty shaft down.
Death. Oh, actually, no, that's a close-up of your arse, which is very much the same thing.
The staircase brought us back up to the main entrance. So this is probably a good time to go back to the start of the story. When the original architectural drawings were made back in the late 1970s, the Monte Palace was planned to be the best hotel in the Azores. A group of French and Belgian shareholders had set up a company specifically to invest in the island's nascent tourist industry, and they wanted to build 2 5-star hotels. The Bahia Palace, down on the bay, and the Monte Palace, up on the mountain. I think you can see how they got their names. Building work began on the Bahia in 1980. The idea was that it would open by 1982, with the Monte Palace following shortly afterwards. And if you've ever had to deal with something called the construction industry, then you already know what happened next. It was 1984 before even the Bahia was completed, 2 years behind schedule and costing double the original budget. It flung its doors open to the world, and then promptly lost so much money that it was closed a year later. Meanwhile, over at the Monte Palace, a financial dispute meant that work had halted with the building only half finished. The story could easily have ended there, The company met its creditors to discuss what to do next, and it seemed that bankruptcy was pretty much inevitable. But the hotels ended up being given a stay of execution when the banks agreed to cancel some of the debt in exchange for coming on board as major shareholders. The new management team then somehow managed to convince the Azorian government to give them a loan, and on April the 15th, 1989, the 5-star Monte Palace Hotel finally opened. Guests could enjoy 88 luxury rooms and suites, a bar, a disco, 3 conference rooms, a bank, a hairdresser, a nightclub, a theatre, and 2 restaurants with silver cutlery, crystal glasses, and walls lined with French fabric. There was nothing like it anywhere else in the Azores.
Right, up the stairs?
The opening of the Monte Palace Hotel had created 100 new jobs, and it was a great boost to the local economy. And with the Bahia Palace reopening at the same time, things were finally looking up. All the company needed to do now was pay off its debts, which included debt from the refinancing, as well as the original debt from the construction, and other debts caused by all the delays to the construction. I think you can probably see where this is going. By all accounts, the Monte Palace's nightclub and restaurants were quite popular with local Azorians, but unfortunately and quite crucially, the hotel was less popular with tourists. In many ways, it's a mystery why a 5-star hotel on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere on an island with barely any tourism wouldn't be a success. But, I don't know, perhaps the 200 days of rain each year didn't help. Before long, the inevitable happened. On November the 26th, 1990, with financial losses mounting, the Monte Palace closed its doors. They never reopened. After all the work, time and money invested since that first contract was signed back in 1977, the hotel was open for just 19 months.
This is a room here. There's a bathroom, a cupboard, bedroom, and a balcony.
It has attracted some graffiti.
Can we walk to the front? So I think on the front we'll
Yep.
get a good view out over.
Well, the best view is apparently from the roof. That's where you really want to go.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Oh my word, there's actually half a toilet.
Yeah. Probably still use that.
Well, that's a
This is a bigger
shower
room.
This is like a bigger room, I guess. Yeah.
You pay a bit more for this one.
Yeah.
Does it join into the next room?
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, so it's like
Crikey.
this is a whole suite going on in here.
Yeah.
And the gents. But why is there a bath in the same place as the... What? No wonder it shut down.
For 20 years following the closure, the Monte Palace lay dormant. Although some of the furniture and fittings were removed, a lot was left in place, as if to welcome back the ghosts of the guests. The rooms fell silent though, and no one came in or out except for a lone security guard who patrolled the empty corridors with his guard dogs.
Aircon system. Heating.
Yep, thanks for pointing out the highlights.
And the fire extinguisher holder there as well.
There might be a view from here.
This is why we have to go up onto the roof, I imagine.
Yeah, you can't quite see the view from here.
Yep. Right, up we go.
Up to the top?
Unfortunately, our plan to get on the roof hits a small problem.
Oh, is this where the stairs stop?
And as you go out to the end, up onto the roof and then back.
Oh, maybe. So we're now going to investigate the east wing of the hotel.
Fire hydrants.
Yes,
Clearly
that is
where
where
they
the
came
fire
back.
extinguisher would have been.
Yeah. Riser covers, aircon, all that kind of shit.
Right, Andrew claims to have found the view. Oh, no, he's gone in there. That's not the view. That's definitely not the view. This is the view.
I've seen worse views.
It's not bad, is it?
It's $1 million view, and for 20 years it belonged to one man, the security guard. But in 2010, the funds that paid his salary finally ran out. As soon as word got around that no one was guarding the hotel anymore, visitor numbers shot up, and within a few years the place was completely trashed. Bargain hunters relieved the building of its furniture and anything else of value. Other guests saw the huge entertainment potential in having 1,000 very smashable windows in one small area, and soon there was broken glass everywhere. By 2012, the local authorities had to step in to clean the mess up and remove any remaining windows, purely to save on hospital bills. In a couple of years, the Monte Palace went from a ghost to a skeleton.
So how do we get up there? Must be some way up. Mind all the broken glass. Doesn't look like... There's people up there. They must have got up there somehow. How do you get up there? What language? German? English? Portuguese? Deutsch. Wie kommen wir da oben?
You wanna come up?
Ja. Ah. Danke.
From here. Up is very beautiful. Here? Yeah, here.
Oh, where the stairs are.
There's a big old gap between the end of the hotel here. Okay. Does it remind you if you were on the roof of the Hexagon or something like that?
In Reading?
Yeah. Is that got that same kind of concretey grandeur to it?
It's not as dismal as Reading, though, is it?
And to be honest, if you look to the left and the right, you don't get that kind of view in Reading.
It does remind me a bit of Swindon, in the sense that Swindon is also a huge hole.
With such an incredible location, you have to ask, is there any chance the Monte Palace could be saved, restored, and brought back to life one day? There's arguably a case for it. There are a lot more tourists in the Azores today than there were 30 years ago, and the hotel probably gets more visitors now that it's closed than it did when it was open. In 2017, the site was purchased by a Chinese real estate developer, who announced that they would reopen it in 2021. And, if I'm honest, that's kind of the reason why I came here now. I wanted to see inside before it gets redeveloped and refurbished, and I can't afford it anymore. But having said that, we didn't spot any signs that any work has started yet. And it's already 2019. It wouldn't exactly be the first time that the hotel has seen a false dawn. If you'd like to visit the Monte Palace, you'll probably need to catch a flight to Ponta Delgada, the main city on the island. Once you're there, the best way to get here is to hire a car and ideally get a friendly bloke called Andrew to drive you. Unfortunately, public transport to this location is pretty much non-existent. Entry to the hotel is free, for now, and if you can, try coming here in the evening when everyone else has gone home and you've got the place to yourself. Because, frankly, who cares about false dawns when you've got a sunset like this?
I don't know if this atmospheric shot might be slightly ruined by the sound of me munching on some apple turnover.